Joining me now is Pennsylvania Senator Dave McCormick. Senator, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Can you give us the latest on where we are in the Senate and what your expectations are for government reopening this week?
Well, I'm pretty optimistic. We had a big breakthrough yesterday, obviously. What we have had is 41 days of just a disgraceful behavior. Chuck Schumer took us into a cul-de-sac. And as a result of that, government workers weren't paid for 41 days. They had to go to credit unions, get loans from their parents. SNAP benefits were stopped. And airlines were hugely disrupted. It's been a terrible waste. But we had a breakthrough yesterday where we've now pushed this legislation to the House. I'm optimistic we'll get through this week and get the government back opened. But it was really, I think the American people have every right to be very disappointed. And the disruption was really for nothing. What essentially the majority leader, John Thune, agreed to was a vote which we had always agreed to sometime in December on the extension of the Obamacare subsidies from during the COVID period. And so we could have avoided all this, but it was pure politics.
Well, part of the issue was Democrats, I think, were emboldened after last Tuesday's election. And they saw that they had wins in Virginia, in New Jersey, and in New York City. Now, Zohran Mamdani, who, of course, won and is the incoming mayor of New York City, has lots of plans and lots of promises that he made. Among those promises are that he wants free buses. And we saw Kathy Hochul from New York this week respond to this because we've been pointing out that a lot of his promises are really falling on flat ground because he actually doesn't have the authority to come up with free buses. That's in the MTA. He doesn't have the authority to freeze the rent. That's a board that will decide on rent. But here's what Kathy Hochul said when asked what she was going to do about Mamdani's plans to have free buses. Watch this.
I cannot set forth a plan right now that takes money out of a system that relies on the fares of the buses and the subways. But can we find a path to make it more affordable for people who need help? Of course we can.
I mean, this is pretty outrageous. This is one of the things that he, campaigned on. And we now hear from the person who's actually in charge of it, the governor of the state, Kathy Hochul. And she is basically saying, no, we're not going to do free buses. Senator, you released a video aimed at New Yorkers who are unhappy with the election of Mamdani and high taxes, inviting them to move to Pennsylvania. Tell me about that.
Well, listen, what Mamdani promised was a set of things that simply aren't possible. Socialism has been tried again and again. It's ended up in the dustbin of history, and we now have a moment where he's going to actually have to govern, and those ideas aren't going to work. It's only going to be a matter of time before those ideas are shown to be the failures they've always shown to be. But what the video was about was saying, listen, sort of tongue in cheek, but really it's a serious thing. It was saying, listen, come to Pennsylvania. You're just go west down I-80, and you can have lower taxes and a place where people welcome patriotism and freedom and pursuit of worship of your own God, and really fight back against this radical agenda we see in New York City. I've gotten a lot of feedback on it, but no one defending the mayor, just people defending their sports teams in New York.
Yeah, I mean, it's discouraging because, earlier in the show, we talked about how Hakeem Jeffries was mocking Dr. Mehmet Oz. Dr. Oz was on with me yesterday talking about really important issues with regard to fraud in Medicare and Medicaid and some of the other, even Social Security. We've talked with Frank Bisignano about that. And yet, the Democrats just do not seem to take President Trump's agenda seriously. How do you intend to operate when you've got such hatred on the other side?
Well, I think the most important thing is we just keep delivering. We won in 2024. The president won. I won with a set of very specific promises to secure the border, stop the flow of fentanyl, unlock energy, bring law and order to our cities.
Yeah.
We need to stay on that agenda. The president's economic agenda is working. The affordability issue is a real issue. It's something we need to continue to focus on. But we have a plan. We have a set of promises, and we just need to keep delivering on those promises. The American people will see the benefits of that, and all this hateful rhetoric and all these promises that won't come to fruition. We need to worry about that. We just need to stay focused on delivering on our promises to the American people, and we're going to be just fine.
Well, the Senate Agriculture Committee released a discussion draft of a major bill that would overhaul cryptocurrency regulation. The Senate Banking Committee now negotiating with Democrats to reach a bipartisan deal. I want to get your take from your stance on the Senate Banking Committee. What can you tell us about that, and what kind of an impact on the economy are you expecting from this shutdown?
Well, Maria, this is, crypto is an incredibly important opportunity for America's future. If we don't lead on crypto, other countries will fill that void. It's a huge job creator in Pennsylvania. And this is a really important step, a market structure bill coming out of the Ag Committee. We have a draft document in the Banking Committee, too. This begins the good work of coming together to find good bipartisan legislation to build on the Genius Act that was already passed. This is an important part of America's future. We've always learned that America needs to be at the forefront of innovation, and that's going to create great opportunity. In terms of the shutdown, listen, in terms of shutdown on the economy, we've got wind at our sails with the deregulation agenda, with the energy dominance agenda, with the certainty of the tax policies the president and the Congress put in place. We've got foreign direct investment coming into our country. We've got lots of good things going on. The government shutdown is going to be a blip. We just need to move forward and get things back up and running and implement the president's agenda.
Yeah, let's hope to get back on track pretty quickly. The president, of course, set to lead ceremonies to commemorate our military heroes on this day. I want to thank you so much for your service. You served in the 82nd Airborne Division as an Army paratrooper. You're leading efforts to improve traumatic brain injury treatment and prevent veteran suicides. Senator, thank you for all that you're doing. Tell us about that.
Thank you. You learn a lot about a country by the way it treats those who've been willing to serve. We've got a huge veteran suicide problem, 19 a day on average. I've introduced a couple pieces of legislation to make that terrible tragedy go away for veterans, and we owe them a lot. Thank you.
And we owe you a lot, Senator. Thanks very much for your service. Good to see you this morning.
Thank you.
Dave McCormick joining us. We'll be right back. Stay with us.